The views and opinions expressed by the host of this show are his and his alone. They do not reflect the views of this network, his employer, any of the universities he attended, his family and friends or former roommates, any of the 5 Temptations, the 4 Tops, or any number of the Pips. They may or may not reflect the views of the other voices in his head. His dog, however, agrees with him 100%. And now, broadcasting live from a secure, undisclosed location deep in the heart of Texas, it's the Snarky Parenthetical. Here's your host. He's highly caffeinated and mildly irritated. Here's Lathan Watts.
And welcome back to the Snarky Parenthetical. I'm glad to have you back with us. Lots to do today, but before we get into the show, a little housekeeping note. If you prefer to just listen to the dulcet tones of Stan the Man and my voice, we are now on all of your regular channels for audio podcasts. So Spotify, Apple iTunes, pretty much anywhere you would go to find a podcast. You can find the first couple episodes are there now, and the rest will be on there soon. So please check them out and share them widely.
That's right. Make sure you subscribe so you get the future ones.
Yeah,
you'll get the notifications and everything. Yep.
Because who would want to miss a minute of this?
This kind of programming, you
yeah.
can't just find it anywhere.
Right. So at the end of last show, we kind of ran out of time, and I mentioned I had a story that I wanted to get into, so we'll start with that one. Again, hat tip, not to be. One of the few reasons to keep the internet. Thank you, not to be. So I can't do better than just going with the headline. 2 Missouri moms pulled guns on each other in a school drop-off lane.
What?
And honestly, who among us has not been there before? Thank you, Joel Abbott of Not to Be. That's a great headline. And I appreciate right off the bat saying it's Missouri, so it's not my people. It's pretty close. We're getting dangerously close, but we
off the hook this time.
Yeah, we've done a lot of weird and wacky things out of Florida, so I wanted to give Florida a break.
Okay.
So we're going to Missouri for this one.
To the Midwest, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I know Stan the Man has probably not ever had to deal with a school drop-off lane. He's much too young for
that. I've tried to avoid them as best I can.
Certainly.
That's
a wise policy. I should say I very rarely have to do the drop off. Usually the much better half of our relationship handles that.
There you go.
But I read this headline. I was just glad to see that I was not related to the person who pulled the gun.
Right.
Because apparently it is a thing, and I can tell you from my limited experience, I sympathize with these women.
Okay.
So apparently this is in Hazelwood, Missouri. Hazelwood police said it started when one mom cut off another mom in the drop-off lane.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, that it's not quite like the 11th commandment. It's not chiseled in stone. But it's pretty close. One of the moms walked to the car of the other woman to apologize, saying it was an accident, according to Hazelwood police captain. The argument became heated, and the woman inside the car pulled out a gun.
Wow. Escalated real quick.
That escalated quickly. Yeah. Was there a man on fire? Did you kill someone with a trident? Mom outside the vehicle says, and I quote, "I got one for you too," and goes to retrieve her firearm from her car.
Yes!
The argument ended at that point. The moms dropped off their children and left the property. So the way this reads, the kids are still in the cars.
Right.
Then they dropped off their car. Like, okay, we both pulled guns. We agree we're both armed. Okay, let's go ahead and let the kids out.
Now we can, yeah. or perhaps it was a, hold on, let's let the kids out so they don't have to witness what's about to go down.
Yeah, exactly. Kids, hurry up, get your stuff. I gotta deal with the situation here.
Right.
Pass me that 15-shot clip, would you? Which I would just have loved to see the looks on the faces of the other people in car line.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you see somebody get cut off and you're like, oh, this ain't good. And then the guns come out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which sort of proves, that the answer to the issues with guns in this country is not gun control, it's more guns.
Of course.
Because when did this fight stop? When both parties realized everybody here's got guns.
Exactly. Yep. Maybe this is a bad road to go down. Yeah.
End of conflict.
Yep. Yep. Oh wait, I don't have the drop on him.
Yeah, exactly.
They're packing heat too. Yeah.
That's
we'll
right.
let this one slide now. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, the argument ended at that point.
Yep.
And I just,
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's
like I said, in my limited experience with Carline, it's one of those zones in life where it just seems that I admit it's not like I have an extremely long fuse to begin with, but car line drop off seems to be like this magical place where everybody goes 1 to 100 like that at the drop of a hat.
Interesting.
It's one of those things. I think it may be because like nobody has figured out a way. If we could put Chick-fil-A in charge of school drop-off lines, a lot of this would be over. I really think until somebody
problem solved.
Until somebody does that, you're likely going to encounter possibly more gunfights.
So there's some justification here. You said they're not totally.
Yeah, I can sympathize. I mean, there's a reason I don't keep my gun in my car. And this is probably it. Even though I'm not in car line that much, there are plenty of other scenarios on the highway. It's probably not a good idea for me to be armed. Which is just, know yourself.
There you go.
Know yourself.
Know your limitations.
Know your limitations. Know what your
pitfalls. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
there you go. Well,
there you go, Missouri.
And I'll tell you, just here locally, the Facebook group for my neighborhood, which has its own little elementary school and middle school here. I have seen on more than one occasion a post, and there's just, these neighborhood Facebook groups to begin with are hilarious how much gossip over the most ridiculous little things.
Yeah. They're the modern day Gestapo.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's turn in your neighbor.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Over the littlest, whose son bikes in a it looks like mid-2000s orange Huffy with a and he was wearing this and he rolled right through my flower bed.
Of course.
And I just planted these the other day and they're the pride and joy of my life, so I'm gonna go on here and rat about, find out who it is, tell everyone else they got a someone here's got a terrible son.
Yeah.
And you're just like, come on. But no, I have seen on more than one occasion similar kind of thing where someone is calling out someone else about a school drop-off situation.
Oh yeah.
Where they're like, I just want to, I don't want to name any names, but here's the license plate number of someone that cut me off.
But I don't want to name any names. Yeah.
You're just like, really? And then you just see the comments blow up of like other people that were in the same line that day saying, well, I saw it this way. I know what you're talking about.
Just
this is what I saw.
Passive aggressive Lollapalooza.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah.
Right.
So
there you go. Check out, just everybody act accordingly.
Right.
Right. That person cuts you off.
Be on guard.
They may be armed as well.
I know.
So,
oh man.
So there you go for Missouri. So we're not always picking on Florida. And we'll just move out west for this next story. One of my favorites from since our last show, the San Francisco mayor, London Breed.
Oh, I know where you're going. Yeah.
Okay. Which, right off the bat, sounds like a bad punk name.
Already, yeah.
Yeah, like a bad punk rock name
yeah.
for a band.
Right.
So apparently she was at a party, some restaurant, and I know this is going to shock you, but in San Francisco they have very strict rules about mask wearing.
Of course.
In restaurants. And
not necessarily for their elected representatives when they go into salons or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Certainly not there.
You gotta get your hair done to go on TV. Then all bets are off. Or if you're the governor and you just want to have dinner with some friends at the most expensive restaurant in America, while everybody else is locked up in their houses, yeah, that's okay.
We'll let those sled.
Yeah. So this is San Francisco. The mayor. Apparently, some video emerged of her at a party at a restaurant, having a great time. Singing, dancing, sipping, with her friends, and absolutely no mask in sight.
Right.
By anybody
of course.
involved.
Yep.
And some people pointed that out. She didn't really take too kindly to it being pointed out. The quotes are always the best.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not gonna sip and put my mask on, sip and put my mask on, and put my mask on, and eat and put my mask on. While I'm eating and drinking, I'm going to keep my mask off. First of all, if you put a bad techno beat and some auto-tune to that, you got to hit the making. Sip and put my mask on, sip and put my mask on.
I can hear it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Just throw in the auto-tune.
Yep.
And she called the uproar over her night out a distraction and unrealistic.
Unrealistic.
Because apparently restaurants are also requiring proof of vaccination to even be in. So, show us your papers.
Of course.
And apparently, she couldn't be bothered, to put her mask on because the band was playing Tony, Tony, Tony.
Oh, well. In that case.
Why did you say so? You should have led with that, Mayor. It's the Tony, Tony, Tony defense. So,
everyone
time-honored legal theory.
Right. All bets are off at that point,
exactly.
Of course.
The rules are out the window. The band cranks up Tony, Tony, Tony.
I'm gonna use that defense for a lot of things now.
Right.
Yeah.
And then my other favorite quote from her is, don't feel as though you got to be micromanaged about mask wearing. Like, we don't need the fun police to come in and try and micromanage and tell us what we should or shouldn't be doing. We know what we need to protect. We know what we need to do to protect ourselves. Welcome, Mayor.
Right.
To what's called life for the rest of us.
Yeah. Welcome to common sense.
I'm sorry to put a pin in that protective balloon that you live under, where your world is completely different than the rest of ours. But the rest of us have been saying this for going on 2 years now.
Right. Yes.
No, you're exactly right. We don't need the fun police. We do know how to protect ourselves. There's risk in life. There's risk to not wearing the mask. There's risk to wearing it. There's risk to the vaccine. There's risk. You pick the risk you're comfortable with and get on with it.
Exactly.
All right.
It's that simple.
What you did in your personal life, Mayor. All we're asking is, let us do the same.
Yep.
So all of you folks in government,
that's all we're asking.
Who know better than the rest of us.
Of course. Yeah. It's like the when they I think it was a CNN interview I saw surrounding Obama's Martha's Vineyard birthday party.
Oh yeah.
And I remember the exact quote. One brave CNN anchor had the gall to ask about, now some have brought up concerns that, while there are restrictions elsewhere, there doesn't seem to have been any restrictions here. So, what do you have to say to that? And the panelist they're interviewing says, well, I think such things are just overblown. We're talking about a sophisticated, vaccinated crowd here. So,
yeah.
So apparently, for the sophisticated, there's different rules.
It's the whole sophistication immunity.
Yeah.
Because the coronavirus takes one look at a sophisticated man with a nice suit, well tailored. Now I'm gonna leave that guy alone.
Yeah, exactly.
He's clearly got some antibodies that I probably don't know about.
The coronavirus has good taste.
Yeah.
He picks his victims.
Yeah.
Very well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Oh, and as long as we're on the pointing out the obvious hypocrisy of folks in government, as a follow up to one of our stories from last week about AOC's Tax the Rich dress at the $30,000 a plate Met Gala.
Yep.
She has since launched a website where you can purchase tax the rich.
Oh, of course.
Branded items. So,
of course.
I don't know if she's ever seen the movie Tombstone, but as the quote, Doc Holliday, "My hypocrisy knows no bounds." So,
it really doesn't.
the hits just keep on coming.
It's kind of amazing. It's for a such a passionate, avowed socialist.
Right.
That's quite a pretty interesting step. It's almost like she really understands the value of capitalism and just says the opposite.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
It's I mean,
right.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, it's like, she keeps talking about socialism and socialism this, socialism that.
Right.
And I just keep hearing the voice from Princess Bride, like, you keep using that word. I don't think it means what you really think it means.
Uh-huh.
Probably another movie she's never seen. But,
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's segment one. Just kind of recapping some stuff that caught my attention. I know we went a little long on that, but we'll make our way through here. To segment two, we typically do either some sports or entertainment stuff. College football season is in full swing.
Oh yeah.
Before I do college football, one of my other favorite sporting events is the Ryder Cup. I checked this morning, and the U.S. was ahead after the morning matches, but I haven't had a chance to check and see where they are currently. But I got to say, USGA, when we host the Ryder Cup, can we not pick like one of maybe two links courses in America? Whistling Straits, a link style course.
Right.
Which the Europeans are much more accustomed to playing than Americans are.
Right.
We're hosting the Ryder Cup, and we host it at a link style course? Like,
that's a good point. Yeah.
who is the genius who came up with this idea?
Right.
All right.
We're supposed to have home turf advantage here. That's not.
Yeah.
That's our prerogative, right?
Right.
We're picking.
Exactly.
Wow.
Okay, so Ryder Cup's going on. I'm a huge fan. Don't like that we're doing it at Whistling Straits, but okay. College football this weekend. There are some good games. Just go through a few of these here. Notre Dame versus Wisconsin, also known as the Overrated Bowl.
No kidding.
Every year, Notre Dame especially, and to a lesser degree, Wisconsin, perennially overrated.
It's crazy.
And it's one of those things where I kind of go back and forth. Like, I really would love to see Notre Dame just, get beat early and often. But then there's also a part of me that really enjoys watching them play that weak schedule and making it into the playoff.
Right.
And then having the biggest stage imaginable to be exposed.
Absolutely destroyed.
And yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you got Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Georgia, Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt will be lucky to get out of there with their equipment intact.
That could get ugly.
Yeah. So, what are some other games we got this weekend? Tennessee, Florida. That used to be a really great rivalry game. Tennessee, Florida, in the SEC East.
Right.
Used to be, really good rivalry game. Tennessee has been bad for a while. And
am I wrong? Because I don't keep up with college sports quite as much as you do, I don't think. But to my knowledge, since Peyton Manning was there, I don't know that Tennessee has had a relevant.
Yeah, they had maybe a couple seasons after him.
Okay.
But yeah, there's really no excuse for them to be as bad as they have been.
Right.
For several years now, and look, I can say that as a Razorback fan, knowing that my team has been absolutely pitiful for a long time. Which brings me to the next game, that I want to talk about, because I am from Arkansas, and it's just sort of a birthright. That's what we do. This is our team. We don't have any pro sports teams there. The whole state,
of course,
we cheer for the Razorbacks. That's what we do. There are other colleges, smaller universities in the state, and people in those towns are good fans for them as well. But when the Razorbacks play, that's what we do.
Right.
And Arkansas plays Texas A&M this weekend at Cowboy Stadium,
Oh,
Southwest
boy.
Classic. Because, it's Cowboy Stadium. Jerry Jones is a Arkansas Razorback
Of course, yes.
alum. Played on the last national championship team that Arkansas had.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was in the 20s.
60s. Thanks. I was at 64, I think, 64, 65.
Wow,
Right
okay.
around the time the Beatles showed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's, wow, I didn't even need to make the joke. That's old enough.
Yeah, exactly.
That's insane.
Thanks. I think this is probably, and I mean, obviously I'm vested in this as a Razorback fan, but I actually think this may be the best game of the weekend. A&M's
Okay.
ranked 7th, Arkansas is ranked 16th. And look, I love the Hogs, and I'm really encouraged about how much better they are. Sam Pittman has done a remarkable job in just 2 seasons. Even as a Razorback fan, though, think people have kind of overreacted to our improvement. I'm not convinced that we're a top 20 team yet.
Right.
And I think we will likely find out this weekend.
Yeah.
But these two teams,
Okay.
ever since they started playing each other again, it doesn't seem to matter what their records are. It's always a good game, and it always seems to be some sort of just wild.
I've noticed that.
Uh,
Because I know A&M and obviously UT and
Yeah.
some of the other Texas programs are the maybe the bigger rivalries
Yeah.
per se, but
Which-
it does seem like those are always pretty good games.
Yeah,
for the
Arkansas A&M
Hogs.
has, ever since we started playing it again, has been
Right.
an entertaining matchup regardless of how good either school was. Arkansas did beat Rice week 1, beat Texas week 2.
Right.
So if we pull it off and beat Texas A&M, I am declaring us Southwest Conference champions. The old days, the old
Right.
Southwest Conference days.
Yep. Seems valid.
Yeah. So I will take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we beat
There you
those
go.
3 schools. We're Southwest Conference champions. And, we'll
It's
go from
gotta
there.
it's gotta count for something. I'm sure the committee will take that into account.
Right.
Yeah.
What other games? You got Alabama, Southern Miss. That's going to be just an absolute slaughter. Because Bama's got a little bit to prove, even though they won last week against Florida. Even Saban said this
Right.
week, he's like, there's times when you win a game, but you don't feel like you beat the other team.
Mm-hmm.
You do not ever want to be the team that Saban plays the week after he's disappointed in his team.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yikes.
They're in for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one could get ugly early.
Ole Miss, yeah.
Oklahoma, West Virginia, hillbillies versus people that cheated in the land rush. if you wanted to change their mascots to be more accurate.
Right.
So yeah, there's going to be some fun college football this weekend. It's that time of year. So
It's gonna be fun.
yeah,
Gonna be a good weekend. Yeah, and it feels more like football season now. It's a little cooler the past couple days. It's
finally.
yeah.
Finally
good
cooling
feeling.
off a little bit. All right, so I'll shift gears a little bit. Usually do some things that we find mildly irritating. Might get a little bit different this week. Stan the Man was just recently down in Austin for some day job related stuff.
That's right.
How was Berkeley East, as I call it?
It really felt like that, honestly. Like we just mentioned, there was kind of the cool down. So you had the breeze, felt much like a sea breeze.
Mm-hmm.
You got the kind of the rolling hills down there. So that part of it was nice.
Spending time on 6th Street?
Yeah, I did spend some time on 6th Street,
Okay,
and that's when things went a little south.
Hold on, let me
You
put
can
my
say.
surprised face on. How many of the 10 Commandments did you personally witness being violated on 6th Street on a typical weekend night in Austin?
At least 13. I'll put the over under.
13 of the 10 Commandments.
Yeah. Austin,
Math is not a strong suit, ladies and gentlemen.
no, I'm telling. Austin finds new ways to add to the 10 deadly commandments. See, I'm mixing metaphors now.
Right.
7 deadly sins, 10 commandments.
commandments.
Austin just says, we're throwing it all. We're throwing it all at the wall, and and seeing what'll stick. No, so many violations. I mean, I don't know how many drug deals I witnessed. Just the exchanging of hands, you know, and you know, just kind of the interesting, huh? Okay, so you're just gonna right out here on the street. We're just doing that. Okay.
Yep. Just how Austin likes it.
That's right. Yep. Witnessed several fights that, of course, didn't come to blows because they're Austin people, so they wouldn't.
Exactly. Hey man.
Yeah. A lot of passive aggressive, like.
Yeah. They don't have the energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
They're a little too mellow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a little too much of the good stuff beforehand to get too wrapped up in it, but yep, I tried some street Euros.
Ah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
The next day was not pleasant. See, that's the thing. They said it was a mixture of lamb, beef, and chicken. Mm-hmm. None of what was in there tasted like any of those three meats. So I have my questions.
Speaking of, I should throw in, our show today is sponsored by Krusty Burger of Springfield. Speaking of meats, you're not 100% sure what it is.
Oddly appropriate.
Yeah, it's probably why that franchise never really went national, I think. Just it's popular in Springfield, but, you know.
Yeah.
Clown serving a burger is a clown serving a burger.
Yep. Man, I'll tell you what, there may have been some clowns serving them, may as well have been, down in Austin. I mean...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for all you clowns in California that are moving to Texas because you've decided to turn your state into a third world communist hellhole,
right? Please
just move to Austin.
Right.
Just don't go anywhere else.
Just contain
it's already
a
lost cause. They really want to be like you anyway.
Exactly.
So just go there.
Yep.
Okay, leave the rest of us alone.
Yep.
Here in the rest of the state that actually enjoy living in freedom and prosperity.
Exactly. Yeah. The things Texas is supposed to stand for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of which, it was actually really interesting to me because I was taking Ubers to get from my Airbnb to the conference site, and multiple times, two of my drivers were both from Afghanistan. Had immigrated here. Their families were still over there, and it was really interesting talking to them because as soon as I found out, I'm like, wow, okay, well, tell me, what's your perspective on what's been going on? And it was really interesting to hear because they talked about how the narrative in the media, of course, has been, well, the Afghanis, they kind of sort of wanted their freedom, but they weren't really willing to work for it, and maybe they didn't really want it as bad as we thought, and we were just, we really shouldn't have been over there in the first place because they weren't really ever that invested in it, and they're just like, they both told me without any prompting, not true at all. All the Afghanis that they knew, their family, everyone, all their acquaintances and family and friends said, we're absolutely invested in, we had small businesses, we had, girls were finally free to go to school and all these kinds of things. It was great.
Once you get a taste of freedom, nothing else is going to suffice.
Exactly.
And that's what we gave them for the 20 years that we were there.
Exactly. Right.
Oh, and speaking of Afghanistan and us leaving and what we left there, clearly, we left about $85 billion worth of military equipment. But did you know we also basically created the Taliban Navy?
I did not. Okay.
Which, hear me out, because I understand Afghanistan's a landlocked country. But I saw images this week, and I think it was not the B again. You'd think I work for those guys, but
may as well at this point.
Of Taliban soldiers in like swan boats, paddling around some lake in Afghanistan. And I'm not talking about like rowboats or power boats.
Right.
No, the kind that like you take a date on in Central Park and you're like paddling around the water. And there's images of these guys in these swan boats. One dude's got a rocket launcher. A couple guys got AK-47s.
No way.
Just like, I was just waiting for the soundtrack. Like,
right.
What a lovely holiday with you, Muhammad.
That's unbelievable.
I was looking at it
what
like,
an image.
well, so you guys, when you don't let women out of the house, then I guess you're stuck paddling around in swan boats with other dudes, carrying AK-47s.
What else is there to do? I mean,
yeah,
of course.
So,
wow.
And it actually, I mean, the lake, the water looks, like crystal clear blue. Is actually really beautiful. I don't know if it's like some sort of, I think it's like some sort of national park type situation, which. Maybe in the 20 years we were there, we taught them about Teddy Roosevelt, national parks. One of our best ideas.
Yeah.
But apparently the Taliban was just having a lovely time out there on the water.
Wow.
With their automatic weapons and rocket launchers, just in case an infidel happened by.
Just in case these infidels are on vacation over here, we got
the garden spot of the Middle East.
We're on patrol, guys. Don't worry.
Right.
We got this.
There will be no. There will be no infidels on this lake.
We got this situation under control.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So, it was one of those things. I saw the picture and I was just like, somebody just stop the world and let me off. I'm running out of words.
No. Yeah.
I'm literally running out of words.
Wow.
So,
there you go.
Anyway, I think we're coming up on the clock here. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in again. Check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you get your podcasts. I got a couple episodes up there now and more to come. So we will see you next time on Snarky Parenthetical, JPK Network.